Hello and welcome to the Home Park View. Unfortunately for you guys, it's only me today because Elliot, unfortunately, has got the lurgy and can't join me. So I'm having to do this on my own. But nonetheless, we'll crack on. So yes, I'm going to do have a little review of the game on Saturday with Forest Green Rovers, and then we'll have a look at tomorrow's game with Accrington Stanley. And we'll have just a quick look at the following game after that, which is at Wembley against Bolton Wanderers. Okay. So firstly, we'll tackle Forest Green Rovers. So the game on Saturday. So let's fill you in on that. So Plymouth Argyle took another step closer to promotion with a 2-0 win over Forest Green Rovers in front of 16,000 plus crowd at Home Park. It was important there were no slip-ups against the bottom of the table visitors, given the form of the other sides chasing them. There were wins for Ipswich Town, 2-0 at home to Shrewsbury, and Barnsley in fourth, who went to Wycombe Wanderers and won 1-0. However, fifth place Derby lost 2-0 to Fleetwood at home, leaving them 13 points behind Argyle on the same number of games. Argyle got the boost of an early goal against Forest Green when defender James Bolton, making his first league appearance of the season, headed home from a Jordan Houghton corner in only the 8th minute to make it 1-0. And in the second half, left wing-back Barley Mumba then made it 2-0 in the 47th minute, also with a header across from defender James Wilson. So that's the general gist of that. And I was at that game, and that kind of makes it more exciting than it was. I mean, it kind of went like this in both halves. I mean, Plymouth came out all guns blazing for the first 20 minutes. And pretty much in the first half, up until including the goal, they were brilliant, passionate about, sharpish, going full on attacks. But once they got the goal, they just seemed to sit back and just relax, almost like they were happy with that, And then it got to half time, in they went. Out they came again for the second half, exactly the same, bang at it for 20 minutes or so. They got an early goal actually, and then they just seemed to take their foot off the gas, relax a little bit, and allow Forest Green to have the ball. Although Forest Green, luckily for Plymouth, didn't really do anything at all with it. For most of the halves, in the first and the second, Plymouth were just sort of passing it sideways and backwards and not really making too much progress. Which was quite frustrating as a fan, because you just thought, there's a hat full of goals in this for Plymouth. If only they'd go for it. But from a Plymouth perspective, I suppose, they didn't need to go for it, because they got the goals they needed. They were quite happy to sit on the points, take the points and run. They didn't need to sort of, get injuries or go hell for leather and what have you, when they've got other games coming up that are equally important. So as far as I could see, they seemed to be happy to take what they had and just walk away with the points, and that's how that went for me. But yeah, the goals were good, very good. Barley Mumbas, I was right sort of behind that from where I was sitting, and it just, as it came across from James Wilson, Barley Mumba just right on the end of it, bang, and hitting it back across the goal and into the corner. It was a beautiful goal. Yeah, very well constructed and very well put together. And yeah, I'd say, as for Forest Green's kit, that was a bit of a shocker. I mean, it was pink and with sort of black stripes going across it, and it's quite shocking. I'll be honest. It was. I wouldn't like to have to be a fan of Forest Green and wear that kit around. It just, I don't know. Not for me, that. Next up for Plymouth Argyle then is Accrington Stanley. I'll put my teeth in. And they are playing that game against Accrington Stanley tomorrow night. I do believe it's an 8 o'clock kickoff. So, yeah, let's have a look at where Accrington Stanley are and how they're doing. Let's have a look at the last few games they've played. So I'll just share the screen with you now, okay? Okay, so we've got the screen up for you now, and you could see Accrington. I don't know why I have trouble with that, but Accrington Stanley, right? You can see here there's the last few games, and you've got there's the Plymouth one tomorrow night. But prior to that, they had Milton Keynes Dons. They lost 1-0. Played Portsmouth at home and lost 3-0. Looks quite. I mean, 2 men sent off for each team there. quite a rough old game there at Charlton, which proved to be difficult for Plymouth. Again, they 1-1 draw there, wasn't too bad, and then they lost to Ipswich away 3-0. So yeah, their form's not great. They're not really doing particularly well. I mean, let's have a look at the tables now, and we could see where they are. So where are we? Accrington, Stanley. There we go. Let's just move that a little bit over so you can see it a little bit better there. So Accrington, Stanley are 21st in the league, and you can see from this on the right, they've won 1, lost 1, drawn, and then lost the last 2, and they're sitting there on 35 points. So, in my humble opinion, I think that like Forest Green, I mean, they're 4th from bottom. That should be a win for Plymouth Argyle all day. It really should. And no disrespect to Accrington Stanley, they haven't been doing well. And when you're that far down the table, it kind of shows what your form's all about. And I can't see Plymouth Argyle coming unstuck there. Really, there'd have to be some kind of major thing happening for him to come unstuck there. So that, to me, I'm saying it's an away match, which is always a bit tricky, but I'm saying that's 2-0, maybe 3-0 to Plymouth Argyle, in my opinion. So let's have a look at the top of the table then, and we'll go to, there we go. And we can see there, Plymouth Argyle sitting on 77 points, lost 1, draw 1-2, lost 1, won 1. The form's getting a little bit better now. And then there's just sitting behind Sheffield Wednesday, who have to go to Barnsley next. And basically, the general gist of this is if Plymouth Argyle were to win at Accrington Stanley tomorrow night, and Sheffield Wednesday go to Barnsley and either draw or lose, then Plymouth Argyle will go top. So it's still there for Plymouth Argyle. Sheffield Wednesday, I think, a bit like Plymouth Argyle when they were at top, they're feeling the pressure a bit from those below them, and I think that's what's now happening to Sheffield Wednesday. They begin to feel that, and so Plymouth Argyle are perfectly poised to just leap in there and take it from them again. Fingers crossed that's the case. We'll see tomorrow night. But I feel that they're perfectly poised for that. And also the run that Plymouth Argyle have got after this is fairly easy. I mean, in terms of most of the teams are sort of in the bottom half of the table. So this is a great opportunity for Plymouth to actually stamp their mark and get back at the top and stay there. So yeah, the pressure's well and truly on Sheffield Wednesday. I mean, Barnsley, as we know, they've got their shit together. Let's say they know what they're about. So I think had Barnsley have got themselves together early in the season, they could have been serious contenders. But I think where they are now, they're perhaps, I know there's still sort of 9 odd games to go, but I think they're just a bit too far behind there to really be too much of a threat to Plymouth. But yeah, had they have got it together earlier, then yeah, they're definitely a strong team. So I think they'll give Sheffield Wednesday a run for their money. So yeah, we'll see how that fares. So let's have a look at Bolton Wanderers. So that'll be the next game after Accrington Stanley, which will be played on Sunday, the 2nd of April. And I've got tickets to that, and hopefully Elliot will be better, and we'll both be going to that. We've sorted out our coach tickets, and we've also got our tickets out, and they arrived today. I have now got them in my wallet, and we're good to go. So we're looking forward to that game. So let's have a brief look at Bolton Wanderers' form so far. And here we see, there you go, they played Accrington Stanley and beat them 2-0. And then we've got Port Vale 2-1, lost to Portsmouth 3-1, 0-0 against Morecambe. Again, Morecambe are way down there, bottom half. They lost 2-0 against Ipswich, and they did all right against Sheffield Wednesday. That wasn't bad at all. So 1-1 draw, but that's the best they've got out of that lot. And that helped Plymouth Argyle immensely, that draw. We'll take that. But But yeah, it's in different form as you'd say. Let's have a look at where they are in the tables. So Bolton, let's go. Bolton, where are you? There you go. They're in 6th. Down here in 6th. It's 64 points. Won 1, lost 1, drawn 1, lost 1, drawn 1. So their form is not great. 64 points. I mean, I know it's the Wembley final and things could be different. Yeah, when it's a cup final and the teams are sort of fighting for their lives, and and they've got all 40,000 fans one end and 40,000 the other. You never know what sort of team's going to turn up. But looking at those statistics, again, I think Plymouth Argyle should have a bit too much for Bolton on the day. But again, it's fans could change that. Indeed, we'll see how the atmosphere is and everything. But looking at those statistics, I can only see a Plymouth Argyle win there. So yeah, come on the greens. Really looking forward to it. Can't wait for the day. So anyway, I'm going to stop boring you to death now and knock it on the head there. So my name's Alan. Thank you very much for watching along, and yeah, we'll see you at Wembley, I guess. We'll do a report on the match there. Please like and subscribe if you've enjoyed it, and we'll look forward to seeing you on the next one. Bye.